Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. CBS new Kayce spinoff pays off one part of Yellowstone's ending I was worried would be ignored. CBS will pay off a vital part of Yellowstone Season 5's ending, setting up a spinoff for Kayce Dutton, Luke Grimes, John Dutton i.e.'s Kevin Costner, prodigal son. While Kevin Costner's Yellowstone exit as John Dutton riddled the series' final chapter with disputes, there were still things that Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 got right. One of the season's best parts was the way that John Dutton's children, Kayce and Beth Kelly Riley, stepped up to protect and maintain his way of life after the governor of Montana was assassinated in his home. While Yellowstone Season 5 ended with Kayce selling the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch to Thomas Rainwater, Gil Birmingham, and the Broken Rock Tribe, his story wasn't over, so I'm relieved to see it continue. Amid the events of Season 5, a casting deal broke the news that Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser would reprise Beth and Rip in a Yellowstone spinoff, confirming the story would move forward for at least one of John's kids. However, Kayce Dutton will also have a Yellowstone spinoff on CBS, which takes full advantage of his story potential and fulfills something I predicted in Season 5. Amid the events of Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, I firmly believed Yellowstone screenwriter Taylor Sheridan set up two independent Yellowstone continuations, one for Beth and one for Kayce. This clicked for me while watching Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 10, The Apocalypse of Change. The chapter was muddled with flashbacks to before John's death. While the divisive flashbacks turned many fans off, I actually liked seeing Kayce and Beth settle into their individual lives a bit, and I distinctly remember thinking that John's children would both star in their own shows. The Apocalypse of Change. Flashbacks show Kayce, Tate, Brecken Merrill, and Monica, Kelsey Asbill, checking out East Camp. While it could have just been setting up his epilogue, I could see Sheridan spinning the wheels of Kayce's continuation in the development. Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 got a lot of flack, and its confusing flashbacks were a significant part of that. While I understood the frustration, I saw the divisive flashbacks as a lens forward into Yellowstone's future rather than a confusing reference to its past. I'm relieved it's happening, because Kayce will be great in his show. It would have been simple enough to include Kayce and Beth and Rip's Yellowstone spinoff, but it wouldn't have worked. Beth and Rip's continuation is an exciting prospect, with a rich tapestry of backstory and material to draw from. Including Grimes' Kayce in the mix could have distracted from the story, not allowing it to lean into the Yellowstone power couple as its main characters. Kayce was John's youngest son and a far cry from a supporting character in Yellowstone's ensemble cast. It would have been unthinkable to delegate Kayce to the background, as Beth and Rip took the spotlight. Especially after the events of Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, Kayce deserves to be a main character. John's son rose to the challenge of protecting his legacy, despite selling the family's heirloom ranch. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 11, 353, Kayce uses his background as a Navy SEAL to prove John Dutton could have been assassinated, successfully getting his death investigation reopened as a homicide. Since Kayce's Yellowstone spinoff will be formatted as a procedural for CBS, the show might lean into Kayce's background in the teens, leaning into his military experience, as Yellowstone Season 5 did. As Yellowstone's saga drew to a close, fans were left with a cocktail of emotions, satisfaction, heartbreak, and a dash of unease about certain lingering storylines. One character who stood at the epicenter of that emotional storm was Kayce Dutton. With a path forged through loyalty, trauma, and spiritual reckoning, Kayce's ending felt both complete and maddeningly open-ended. But now CBS' new Kayce spinoff is stepping into that silence, and it's doing something I didn't dare hope for. It's paying off a part of Yellowstone's ending I thought would be left in the dust. Let's rewind for a moment. When Yellowstone wrapped its final chapter, we saw Kayce standing at a crossroads, literally and spiritually. That vision quest scene from season 4 had never really been given its due. He told Monica he saw the end of us, and ever since, that cryptic message loomed large over his storyline. Would Kayce's devotion to the Dutton legacy ultimately cost him his family? Would he turn away from it all to protect what he loved most? The finale flirted with both possibilities, but never quite committed. It left us with Kayce still trying to walk both paths, the legacy of the ranch and the sanctity of his family. So when CBS announced a spinoff centered around Kayce Dutton, titled Dutton's Crossroads, I was intrigued, but wary. Was this going to be another rugged Western ride that just rehashed old themes, or would it dare to dig deeper into the choices that haunted Kayce's finale? I'm thrilled to say it's the latter. From the very first episode, Dutton's Crossroads makes it clear that this isn't just a new adventure for Kayce, it's a reckoning. And finally, we get the spiritual and emotional follow-through that Yellowstone had left hanging. It's not just about horses, land, or Montana politics anymore. It's about a man torn in half trying to find peace with his past, his heritage, and his future. The spinoff picks up a year after the events of Yellowstone. The ranch is still standing, but fractured. Beth and Rip are off-grid in Texas. John Dutton is a distant ghost, and Kayce, he's left the Yellowstone entirely. He's settled with Monica and Tate on a modest plot of land near the Broken Rock Reservation. He's trying to live simply, off the map, away from the blood that came with the brand. But peace is a fragile thing in the Dutton universe. What sets Dutton's Crossroads apart immediately is its tone. It's quieter, more introspective. There are long stretches where Kayce doesn't say much, but the silences are loaded. He's a man haunted, not just by what he's done, but by what he might still become. And when a new conflict arises, one that pits tribal interests against powerful outside developers, Kayce finds himself, once again, between worlds. Here's where the payoff comes. In Yellowstone, that vision quest always felt like it was pointing somewhere profound, but the show never quite delivered. Dutton's Crossroads doesn't just reference it, it builds on it. We see Kayce having more visions, more moments of spiritual unraveling. One of the most powerful scenes in the pilot has him waking from a dream in the middle of the night, stumbling outside to find a wolf watching him. The same wolf from his original vision. But this time, it doesn't disappear, it waits. That's the magic of this spinoff, it's not afraid to get mythic. And that's exactly what Kayce's story always needed. Of all the Duttons, he's the one who carried the most spiritual weight. He's been a soldier, a rancher, a killer, a father, a husband. And through it all, he's carried this quiet belief that the world is bigger than him, more mysterious than most would dare to admit. Dutton's Crossroads leans into that. It gives us a Kayce who isn't just reacting anymore. He's searching. But what really hits hardest is how the show explores the end of us. That phrase haunted Monica in Yellowstone, and in Crossroads, we finally see them confronting what it truly means. There are tender, painful scenes of Kayce and Monica navigating what their marriage looks like after so much loss. The death of their second child still casts a long shadow. Tate is older now, more watchful, and Kayce is trying to be the kind of father he never had. But can a man like Kayce truly escape the legacy of his bloodline? That's the question at the heart of this series, and the show doesn't offer easy answers. One particularly gut-wrenching episode sees Kayce offered the chance to return to law enforcement to help mediate a land dispute between the reservation and the state. Monica pleads with him not to get involved. Every time you say yes to them, you say no to us, she tells him. It's a line that echoes through the rest of the season. And yet, Kayce says yes, because that's who he is, a man forever caught in between.